Guilt whispers, shame shouts, and isolation locks the door. In chapter 2 of Step 4, A Journey Through Addiction, I talk about an affair that didn't just break trust. It fed my addiction. And today I want to tell you how hiding nearly cost me everything. This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by Greg Swartz at Remax Victory and Affiliates. Whether you're buying or selling your home, Greg brings heart, hustle, and honesty to every deal. Call Greg at 937-477-8975 today. Hey, what's up, podcast family? Welcome back to The Recovery Couch. I'm your host, Brandon Couch, and you always have a seat right here because this show is about real stories, tough truths, and the hope that meets us right in the mess. Today, I'm pulling straight from chapter 2 of my book, Step 4, A Journey Through Addiction, titled Addiction and Adultery. We're going to talk about how adultery led me into a spiral of guilt and shame, and how that shame isolated me, and how isolation poured gasoline on my prescription drug use. Quick content heads up, we're going to discuss infidelity and addiction. So if you need to pause or come back later, do that. And if you need support today, call a trusted friend, call a counselor or a recovery hotline in your area. So what was I really chasing? Truth is, I didn't wake up one day and decide to burn my life down. None of us did. My affair started like most secrets do, quietly. A conversation I told myself was harmless, a compliment I thought I deserved. The lie right from the beginning was that this was about connection. But the truth, I was chasing relief. Relief from the ache I carried, from the pressure to be okay, from the fear I never said out loud. And here's the part that I don't really like to name. Adultery and addiction share a common engine. And that engine is avoidance. I was avoiding my pain. I was avoiding my insecurities. I was avoiding my unhealed wounds. And the affair gave me a dopamine hit of I'm wanted, and the pills gave me a numbed out quiet where I didn't have to feel the weight of what I was doing. And when the high faded, the guilt came. And when the guilt came, I used more to silence it. In chapter 2 of the book, I write about the first time I knew the line had been crossed, not just physically, but spiritually. I'd betrayed my own values. The moment I didn't make me run toward honesty, it pushed me deeper into hiding. And hiding is where addiction thrives. It's the guilt, shame, isolation loop. Let me put it simply. Guilt says, I did something wrong, while shame tells us I am something wrong. And guilt can lead us to confession, but shame convinces us to keep the secret. Shame doesn't just point at the behavior, it swallows our identity. And once shame gets loud, it tells us that we're unworthy of love, we're unworthy of forgiveness, and we're unworthy of community. I'd convinced myself that distance would protect me from the people I loved, and it would protect them from the worst of me. But the reality is that isolation fueled the addiction. I had micromanaged time. I had deleted messages. I staged alibis. Every tactic was really a tourniquet around my soul. Because when we spend that much energy hiding, using becomes the way that we reward ourselves for surviving our own lives, which is crazy. And drugs became the perfect accomplice, especially prescription drugs, because they felt clean, sanctioned, and doctor adjacent. They didn't smell, they didn't slur my speech, and they let me perform just enough to pass. But they also let me turn the volume all the way down on the voice that was trying to save me, saying, Brandon, stop. But I didn't stop. I doubled down. In the book, I describe a night where I'm staring at the bathroom mirror, trying to recognize the man looking back. What I remember most is not the fear of getting caught. It was the certainty that I had already lost myself. That's what shame does. It convinces us there's no us left to rescue, which created a relationship fallout. Secrets don't just break trust. They rewrite the rules of our relationships. We stop showing up fully. We offer half-truths. We promise change that we're not committed to. The people who love us feel crazy because our words and our life don't match. And the whole time we're thinking, if I can just control this better, then everything will be okay. And the truth is, it never is. This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by JB Davis of South Dayton Toyota. If you're looking for integrity, outstanding service, and unbeatable deals on your next vehicle, JB is the guy to call. He's built his reputation on honesty and taking care of people the right way. Reach out to JB Davis today at 513-267-5225 and experience the difference. I knew God. I also knew how to outrun conviction, at least for a while. It wasn't praying honestly. It was bargaining. It was getting myself through this week. Then I'll get clean. If I can keep everyone happy, then I'll stop. Shame kept me from bringing the worst of me to the only one big enough to handle it. And that's the second cost. We lose our altar, the place where we can bring our sin and find mercy. And that's God. And the third cost, we stop believing we're redeemable. And if we don't believe that, we won't reach for help. We will settle for manageable pain over messy healing. And that was me, managing pain, performing okay, quietly dying, until the turning point. It was either consequence or confession. Almost every recovery story has a pivot. For some, it's getting caught. For others, it's just a moment of brutal clarity, and mine had both. Consequences I couldn't charm my way out of, and a holy mirror I couldn't look away from. I remember the first honest prayer. I remember the prayer that it wasn't pretty. I said, God, I don't even know if I want to stop, but I don't want to be this man anymore. Please help me do the right thing. And that prayer didn't fix everything, but it broke the silence between me and God. And when the silence breaks, shame loses oxygen. In chapter 2, I write about the first person I told the whole truth to. I was shaking. I expected disgust in return, but I got consequences and compassion. I got them both, and I needed both. Compassion without consequences could keep us sick, and consequences without compassion can keep us in hiding. You see, I needed a path that held me accountable and held me close, which is how I broke the loop. Radical honesty. Radical honesty isn't a personality trait. It's a practice. I started telling the truth faster, especially when it made me look bad. Secrets die in the sunlight. And I replaced isolation with accountability. I got in rooms where secrets go to die, recovery meetings, counseling, men who asked me the questions I didn't really want to answer. And if you're listening and you're hiding, your first step might be as simple as sending a text. Telling a trusted friend, I need help. Can we talk? Because we have to rewire our coping. I learned to write out cravings instead of obeying them. Walk, call someone, pray out loud. Cold water on the face, journal, anything. Because it's not about being superhuman. It's about building different habits and then making amends and making them the right way. Because amends are not PR. They're not about getting people to like you again. They're about owning harm and repairing what you can without demanding a timeline or a result. In step 4, I had to inventory not just what I did, but what it did to other people. And the spiritual return was I stopped bargaining and started confessing. I let God be God, because grace isn't an excuse. It's fuel for change. The same love that names sin also breaks sin's power. So here's some practical tools. If you're in a secret right now, go tell one safe person. Tell them today, preferably someone with recovery or pastoral counseling experience, and plan like a 48-hour honesty window where in the next 2 days you set 2 conversations, one with a professional, one with someone that you've harmed, and then lock in like a 3-call rotation when you have urges. And that way you already have names ready. And even if you've been betrayed, write down what you know versus what you fear, and don't self-gaslight, because you're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to have temporary separation and passwords and financial visibility and counseling requirements. Get your own support. Betrayal trauma is real. So where do we use busyness or competence to hide our pain? Let's look at those things. What is one secret conversation or behavior that we need to bring into the light today, right now, this week? What consequences are we afraid of that's keeping us sick? If any of this stuff hits close to home, then chapter 2 of step 4, A Journey Through Addiction, is for you. Trust me when I tell you I don't write from a pedestal. I write from the ground level. From the nights I almost didn't make it, and the mornings I chose honesty over image. The book walks through the inventory, the amends, and the spiritual return that rebuilt my life. I'd love for you to pick up a copy today and consider ordering an extra one for someone who needs hope. You can grab step 4 wherever you buy books, or directly from me if you want a signed copy. The links are in the show notes. And signed copies, you can use my Square link. There's also options to buy through retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop, etc. My prayer and encouragement for you moving forward is, God, for the person listening who's drowning in secrets, meet them with truth and mercy. Give them the courage to make the first honest call today. For the one who's been betrayed, hold their heart steady and surround them with wise support. Teach us all, God, to trade hiding for healing. Amen. Your worst chapter doesn't get the last word. If shame has been shouting at you, let this be louder. You are not beyond repair. I want to thank you for being on here with me at the Recovery Couch. If this episode helped you, share it with one person. And when you're ready, pick up Step 4, Journey Through Addiction. Chapter 2 will give you language for the pain and a map toward freedom. Again, I'm Brandon Couch, and you always have a seat right here on the Recovery Couch. True Story Media believes that your story matters. At True Story Media, we help you share your story through podcasting, consulting, coaching, and more. Whether you're building a brand, launching a podcast, or finding your voice, we'll guide you every step of the way. Learn more at www.recoverycouch.com.